Let's pick up where we left. We were going to discuss about the pair class in action, and we would look into some ways to create the pair object. I am going to use the Vim text editor for editing the files, but feel free to use any text editor or IDE, and the Codechef IDE is also very good if you're going for an online IDE. As we already know that the pair class is defined in utility header, so we have included it, and now we are defining two pair variables, pair 1 and pair 2. The pair 1 is a pair of int and double, whereas the pair 2 is an type string and char. So the values are initialized to default values by default, which is 00 for int double and empty for string and char. We can verify this by running the program. I am using GCC compiler, but feel free to use any compiler, say Clang, and we indeed see that the first is 0, 0 and the second line is empty. Now let's look how do we assign values. If it is empty, it is of no use. We need to assign values. So we are assigning values, and we can see that in these lines we are assigning the pair 1's first to 1 and pair 1's second to 34 using the dot notation, and pair 2's second to y and pair 2's first to Codechef best. The point to note here is that we need not assign first as in the first and second later on. We can assign to the values second first and first later on, so it is completely free of the order. And then we have printed it, and we see it is indeed the values have indeed been stored in the variables. And then we are also explaining how we could store an int reference or int pointer, because it's just not limited to int, string or long and such variables, and we could even use custom classes. So we have defined a x variable, an array, and we are just storing it into pair 3. So we are not storing the array directly, but it's a pointer, and which you can see by printing the value. Since it is an array, we are printing, say, the second element, which is second is actually the third, because the index starts from 0, 0, 1, 2, and we can indeed see that 8 is printed, which is at index 2, and 5 is the value of the variable x, which we assigned here. There is a different way also to do this assignment. See, during the time of declaration, we did it in line 34. When we defined and declared the variable, then only we initialize the value. We could also do it with the make pair function. It is very helpful when we don't know the data type. Maybe it is too long to type, so we just use auto and let make pair reduce the data type. But make sure don't do the thing which we have written here in line 38 as comment. In this line there is no assignment operator, so it is very hard for compiler to know whether it is a function declaration, function expression, function call, or variable declaration. And we are just verifying by printing the same value as we did with pair 3 that it is same or not, and we indeed see it is same. Let's now try a different program, so we can look into how the reference variables work. Let's go to the top, and we have defined 4 different variables: pair 1, pair 2, pair 3, and pair 4, using the techniques which we did in the previous file. And then I would like you to take a couple of seconds to think what will happen if I compare the pair values, or compare it using an equality operator or a less than operator. So pause the video here and guess all the answers from line 14 till line 28 and write it in your notebook, and then resume the video. So I'm hoping that you have already done it, so I will run this program and then we will discuss. As you can see in the equality that We first compared pair 1 with pair 2, but pair 1 isn't 5 and pair 2 is also 5. How come it giving me 0? It is giving 0 because if the first value is same, it is going to compare the second value, which in this case is not same. So it giving me false. The same explanation goes for this. But for pair 1 and pair 4, sorry, for pair 1 and pair 4 we can see that 5 is not equals to 3. So it's straight away false. But for pair 2 and pair 3 we can see they are same, 520, 520, and hence it is giving us 1. The rest two cases are false because their first value itself is different. Now comes to the less than case. So here we can see that pair 1 is less than pair 2. Why is the case? 5 is less than 5. No, 5 is equal to 5. So when the first value is equal, we will compare the second value, which in this case 10 is less than 20. And since 10 is less than 20, it is returning true. And for the second case also it's the same. And for the third case where we are comparing pair 1 with pair 4, it is not true because 5 is not less than 3. Note that 10 is less than 35 by a lot of margin, but if the first value itself is not less, if 5 is not less than 3, it won't go and compare the second value. So the pair 1 is less than pair 2 becomes false because 5 is not less than 3. And pair 2 and pair 3 are equal, so they can't be less. 1 and pair 2 and pair 4, again 5 and 3, and pair 3 and pair 4, again 5 and 3, so they are false. We have likewise other operators like greater than, less than, greater than equal to, less than equal to, which works in the same way as you would expect. Now let's look at the swap function. Swap is a built-in function in pair which allows us to swap the value of two variables. We are here swapping the values of pair 1 and pair 4, which we can see that the values have interchanged. Pair 1 was 510 and is now 335. Pair 4 was 335 and is now 510. So that's all about pairs. So thank you for watching the video, and if you liked the video then keep coding, and in the next part we will talk about maps. So we will look at a real life example there. Till then, keep coding. Bye bye.